Hey everybody, Larry here, and welcome to Larry's Fountain Pens. I just want to show everybody my pen carry for the week. My pen carry varies from time to time, week to week, day to day, depending how long my ink lasts in a pen, and depending if I want to refill it and try it with a different ink, because sometimes a pen may work better with a different kind of ink. It doesn't necessarily mean that pen is bad, but sometimes pens react different to different inks. So here's a pen that I really like, and that was given to me by a friend of mine. It's a Sheaffer / Levenger. The story was that Levenger got with Sheaffer and came out with this pen, but still Sheaffer seems to be the more pronounced leader in this pen. So I'm thinking that Sheaffer got with Levenger and they did a duel together to come up with this pen, because the nib is a Levenger nib. So I always found that interesting, and let me just double check me. I am so correct. Yes. In fact, on the nib, it does say Sheaffer and Levenger on it. It's kind of split in the middle. So, this was the first time I've ever heard of Levenger and Sheaffer getting together to do a pen. So if anybody out there knows the story about how this came to be, leave your comments below, because the nib is interesting. Sheaffer, Levenger on the nib. And it's all about Sheaffer. You see the Sheaffer dot. And on the pen itself, on the cap, it does say again, Sheaffer, Levenger. So, they're working hand in hand together on this pen, made in the USA. So, let's do a little bit of writing with the pen. I'm using the Levenger Forest on it. And this is a 14K broad nib, and it is wet. Really a nice wet broad nib. And the ink Levenger Forest. Nice ink, really a nice ink. So that's number one. Number two is a lot of people's favorite, the Pelikan. And this is the 205. Now, it's a smaller pen, as you can see, compared to the Lamy. And the full one, if you pick this one out, they're about the same size. And, when it comes with a chrome trim, when the Pelikans, when they come out with the numbers ending in 0, you'll find the trim will be in a gold trim. Ending in 5, they'll come out with a chrome trim. I prefer the chrome trim better than the I prefer the gold trim better than the chrome trim. I always have. It just, that's just me. So it does post securely, and it comes with a medium steel nib. Now, this pen is a piston filler, so that's pretty cool for Pelikan to put in this pen a piston filler. when I got the pen, I was thinking, well, is it going to be a piston filler or would it come with a converter? But a piston filler. So here is my second pen carry for now. Really a nice color of ink. And this ink was sent to me by Brian Freelander from the Pen Thing store. And it's the ink with a weird name for me. I'll get to that in a minute. This is a really nice wet nib. For a steel nib, this is a smooth, comfortable, wet nib. And the ink is 3 Oyster. Ink. Very wet. Really a nice ink. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce it because I'm sure I will butcher it. But it's a nice color of an orange. And then we'll go to the one and only Lamy Lux. One of my all-time favorite pens, right? I think I've inked this baby up twice now with the same ink. Because why? Because I like the ink. And I picked up this pen from the Pen Thing store. Yep. Medium nib. Really a nice nib, wet. And of course we'll write down the ink. And there is the new color of ink that Lamy has come up with.
It is azurite.
And really a nice looking Fountain Pen Revolution Himalaya. Really a nice red here. I do like the swirls they have in this pen. It's a good looking pen. So let me get this one down, because this is an interesting fountain pen. Make sure I get the colors right. Almost out of ink. FPR, Fountain Pen Revolution. And the nib size. Yes. Extra fine. And you won't find this to be a wet nib at all. It runs dry, extra fine. So it goes along with the nib. Extra fine nibs are usually not wet. I do have some that are wet, but this one is not. And yeah, the ink, I'm sorry, is the Mont Blanc. And it is the Midnight Blue. And to be honest with you, not my favorite color. The Midnight Blue, to me, it just doesn't have a lot going for it. I've tried it in other pens with, mediums at a 1.5 nib. I just, the color's okay, just really doesn't do much for me. And of course the cool Fullwind 015 Really cool. You're sitting there at your desk and just tinkering with the pen. That's kind of interesting. And it becomes a full-size pen once you post it. Really is a very nice pen. I really have enjoyed using it. And this is the 015, and I got this off eBay. Really a nice ink, nice nib, nice and wet. And the ink I really like. Noodlers, Widow Maker. I love the ink. I like the pen. Really sweet. Noodlers has a lot of great colors that I really like. So let's bring out the Sheaffer No Nonsense, which is a pretty cool pen. They call it the Vintage from the 70s, I believe. It's old stock, new pen, old stock. It's just been sitting on the shelf. So, never has been used. I've done a review on it already, and it really writes really nice. The Sheaffer No Nonsense. A pretty popular pen with a medium nib. And a little wetness here. And it is a wet nib. And the ink, Monteverde Blue, which, you know, I love Monteverde inks, but this one is just, it's too pale of a blue, so it doesn't do much for me. Some of the people out there may love the color. That's cool. And the Mont Blanc Little Prince. Beautiful pen, gorgeous pen, dynamite pen, and it writes superbly. The Little Prince. With a fine nib. And this nib is a nice, smooth, wet nib. Look at that. And the ink, blue, black. So there you have it. My 7 pen carry for this week. Some were carried week before. Even I've carried maybe some of these pens up to 3 weeks, and some I've inked them up a couple of 2 or 3 times. Why do I do that? Well, I like writing with the pen. I want to get some use out of that pen. You know, I just don't want to ink a pen up once or twice and put it up and never write with it again, which I've done. I've been guilty of that. So this is what I'm doing now. I'm going back and I'm getting those pens out that I've used, believe it or not, one time for a pen review. Or maybe I've used it 2 or 3 times, once for a pen review, and then to write with a pen, maybe with 2 or 3 letters. and that would put it up. So I'm trying to change that habit. Okay, so because I really love my pens and I like all of my pens, so I want to use them more, even in the rotation. I want to use them more. So you got your favorite pens, right? And you really like using those pens. So you tend to use those pens more than others because they just feel great in your hand. But then the others you don't use, you don't dislike them, you like them, but not as much as you like the others you use more. So my way of thinking is I'm going to try to use the ones I don't like as much as the ones I love using the most so I can get some writing out of them. Don't mean they're a bad pen. It's just me. Each of us are different on our likes and dislikes. So I'm starting to pull the pens I use less in my rotation. Now, none of these pens I don't like less. I like them all. But my favorite pen is, and another favorite, and another favorite, and here we go. Boom, 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 boom. And it just keeps on. So, because people ask me, Larry, which is your favorite pen? Which is your favorite ink? And I never can answer that. Isn't that right, Mr. Announcer?
Yep.
All right. That's going to wipe it up. So we'll wipe it up, we'll wipe it down, and that's all there is to it. Those are my 7 pens. And in a week or two, I'll show you my next batch of pens that I will be using. Here's the part that I don't like doing with pens. Cleaning them all out. I've got, I think, 4 waiting to be cleaned out. So I have to pull out my logbook and put the dates that I cleaned them out. Well, I better get busy. That's going to hit it for today. Take care, my friends. And remember, please don't text and drive. My little friend right here. See it? He does come on and talk, doesn't he, Mr. Announcer?
Supposed to.
Here, right here he does. Watch.
Trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat.
See you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.